So, Mr. Massini, why Ferrari?
Well, Ferrari is a dream. I think Ferrari is a dream for almost everybody. Every kid wants a Ferrari. It's not only a poster car, I think it's also a status symbol, but it's something you want to achieve in your life. I think every car guy once in his life wants to own a Ferrari, even if it's just a 308.
Ah, yes. So, Ferrari was different when Mr. Ferrari was alive. What do you think has changed in the recent decades, and what have we gained and what we have lost?
Well, we have lost Commendatore Enzo Ferrari, which was a very, very, very special character, a very important figure in motorsport, a very powerful man, a genius, so to speak. Yes, times have changed since Mr. Ferrari passed away. I have to say, 30 years later, the company has grown massively. It's much bigger. Production has greatly increased. We can discuss how many cars should be built today or not. I personally think less is better, but it's a matter of the brand and the people in charge that have to decide these facts.
And speaking of Enzo, Mr. Commendatore, as you said, you had the opportunity to meet him twice.
Yes, that's
if I'm not
correct.
Mistaken. And what are the feelings and the impression you had when you met him?
It was a very special occasion, especially the second meeting. That was in September 1983. And I had the chance to hand out a copy of my book, 250LM, to Commendatore Ferrari. And in return, the Commendatore handed out a copy of his book, Piloti che Gente, wow, which was a very special Ferrari authored book.
Yeah, because it also it was a gift. It was not sold for the public, right?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a private publication by Commendatore Enzo Ferrari, and it is a gift, or was a gift at the time. I think they have reprinted the book in the meantime, but it's something very special. And of course, the moment when I met Mr. Ferrari, I have to say, it's unforgettable. It was really special. And I was very young, I have to say.
Yeah. How old were you?
I was 26 wow, at the time.
Yeah, because you published that book, Ferrari 250LM,
yes,
in 25.
Yes.
And let's talk a little bit about the book.
Yes.
So, but how did it start? Because basically, this is the genesis of the passion of Ferrari, right?
That's right. Well, I was always interested in sports cars, particularly Ferrari, and I went at very early age already. I went to motor races, to car events, to all sorts of club meetings all over Europe. And in August 1977, I had the chance to travel to Germany, to the Nürburgring. There was the Oldtimer Grand Prix, like a historic meeting, which still exists today. And during that weekend, I met two people that owned a 250 LM each. One was David Piper, the other one was Mark Tippett, an Englishman. And both of these men, whom I hadn't met before, let me actually drive the 250 LM at the Nürburgring.
Wow.
Think about that.
So
I was 20. Yeah, I was 20 years young.
Wow.
So imagine this Swiss crazy man driving home Sunday night back to Switzerland, full of memories, incredible stuff, and I fell in love with the 250 LM immediately. And there was no material, no information, no book about the 250 LM. There were very few Ferrari books anyway at the time. So Monday morning I decided to gather information about this particular model. I hand wrote letters to all the people involved, like owners, drivers, mechanics, journalists, photographers, in order to get as much as possible documents, photos, paperwork, little details about the 250LMs. We had no internet, we had no computers, no fax machines. I hand wrote letters, went to the post office. I had to wait 2 weeks before I got a reply. It was different back then.
Yeah, and then what did you do with all that material?
Well, after maybe 6 months or so, I had a bunch of documents and answers and a lot of material. And I said, okay, nice collecting all that stuff, but now I should do something. So I decided to do a little brochure. However, I had so much material, it was too much for just a little brochure. So I had a friend who helped me getting a contract with an English publisher. And we signed a contract within 3 minutes, got a deal, and then I really had to do the book. It was fun. Yeah. And it came out in mid-'83. And I have to say, this 250LM book, which is a very specialized book about one car only, one model only, I didn't write this book to make any money. I did it for pure passion, but it opened up a lot of doors for me. And that was nice.
Yeah, because at the time, researching Ferrari was not your job.
No, I was an accountant by profession, or I still am an accountant by profession, and I used to work for a Swiss bank. And I did Ferrari as a hobby. Every night till early in the mornings, I researched these cars. I reorganized my photographs, which I took over the weekend and all that stuff. And I did that for quite some years until I decided to set up my own company, because I got so many inquiries from all over the world. Everybody wanted to know something about a particular car.
And you haven't had to pay a single dollar in advertising, right?
That is correct. I do nothing. I just sit here and people are calling me, they're sending me emails, they're bothering me, they're inquiring. It's fun.
Yeah, no, I get it. But going back a little bit about Enzo Ferrari, how has your passion in your research deepened your understanding of the man of Enzo Ferrari? Because I think that even myself, I had like a vision, like I had like what I think it was like an image of him. But then I think that the real man was different. Did you have the same feeling?
Mr. Ferrari was already very experienced when he started building his own Ferraris. We must not forget, in 1947, when he started producing his own Ferrari cars, he was already 49 years old. As we all know, prior to the World War II, he was engaged with Alfa Romeo and Scuderia Ferrari. And so he was very, very well connected all over Europe. And when he began producing the Ferrari cars in Maranello, in the beginning it was a very small company, of course, and I think the materials to produce these cars were very, very rare and scarce after the war. It was only a couple of years after World War II ended. So they really had to recycle every little bit and piece to build these cars, and this was fun. But Mr. Ferrari obviously was a very good organizer, and he clearly had control which people to hire, and he wanted the best engineers, the best technicians, the best painters, and the best drivers.
Se dittatore è pretendere dagli altri l'impegno più profondo del mio lavoro, evidentemente hanno ragione.
Enzo was able to find the right people to work with, and he had no qualms about also firing them all if he was not happy, right? I mean, that's a very famous episode about it. Do you think that Ferrari had a talent for finding the right people to work with?
I think that is the key. I really think that is the key. Enzo Ferrari, he was not necessarily an engineer or something like that, or a technician, but he had a very special talent to have the right connections, to know the right people, to hire and find and hire the right people for the time being, to set up a race team, to build these cars, to bring it all together in the Scuderia Ferrari, in the racing team.
He was a leader.
He was definitely a leader, a real leader for those years, yes.
Yeah. I remember, I wasn't there, but in 1955 was a terrible year for Mr. Ferrari. Like the accident with the 335 at the Mille Miglia killed 11, and the tragedy of the loss of Alfredino the year before. But starting from there, like Ferrari started to maybe to become what it is today. Where did Enzo find the strength and the motivation to make Ferrari what it is today?
I mean, let's face it, Ferrari means always drama. It's always drama. There's ups and downs, there is good stuff, there is positive stuff, there is negative stuff. But if you look at it over a very long period, at the end of the day, they have always been very, very successful. And Enzo Ferrari obviously had a very thick skin. And as I said, he was already very experienced, and he was able to overcome all the tragedies and dramas and problems that happened, especially in the 50s. It was a dangerous time, that's for sure, yeah.
So what would it be the most important lesson you have learned by studying and also meeting Mr. Ferrari?
Never give up.